Hi, this is Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space. How are you? This is Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition. Today is Blackout Tuesday, and we consciously made a decision to do the talks today. I've been educating myself through social media as well as online about how I can contribute to ending this crazy systemic racism. I'm just gonna keep on doing what I do best here. It's 1 hour a day. I hope you don't hate me for doing that. I wanted to introduce today Karla of Islenas Shoes. She had a company called Mariem & Co. before. We actually almost had a studio together, Brooklyn Shoe Space and her company, in our space that we just left about 5 years ago. And eventually she actually moved to the garage next door. Right now it's Lorna and Lauren in the garage. But we did have a moment where we did share some space and created sort of like a shoemakers row on Roebling Street. She has brought her brand back to Puerto Rico and is doing an amazing work there. So I just wanted to invite her in and see how she's doing. So let's see. Carla. Hi, Aki. Thanks for coming to watch.
Hi, Keiko.
Hi, how are you, Carla?
Good. So
For a
nice to
long
see your
time.
face.
So good to see you. Oh my goodness, you are tan.
Oh, yes. The good things about living in the tropics. Yes.
Yes,
Without
yes.
trying, you get that
Right.
nice
Yeah,
color.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice color, yeah. How long have you been quarantining?
Ooh, since exactly the order from the governor to lockdown was in March 13
Yeah,
for a
same.
hard lockdown on March 16.
Mm,
But the laws over here seem like they were a little bit more strict than the US or what I've seen or what I've just
heard.
talked with friends in New York. Here, you really couldn't get out after 7, or you
Wow.
would get fined, or if you resisted,
Wow.
go to jail. So it was very,
Whoa.
very strict. Yeah.
You had a curfew basically.
Curfew, yeah, and yeah, harsh
Manufactured.
punishment. So
Yeah.
yeah, manufacturing immediately. Friday was the governor's order, and then by Monday you couldn't go to work.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really, really quick, the change.
Yeah. And how has it affected you? You have had to close,
Yeah,
shut
so
doors.
it,
So,
it closed immediately,
uh-huh.
and one of the things that we're really proud of is not working with a lot of inventory to reduce waste. But
Right.
then I came to the realization that that was a problem because I could have continued the business, and just at least fulfilling if I had inventory, because I know enough now of what sells, what sizes, what styles, what colors. But because we work without inventory, it
You're
really
made
was a
basically made to
hard.
order.
It's made to
Yeah.
order, yeah. And then we keep making extra when we have time for events. So we
Yeah.
were already prepping for. We're trying to do 4 events in the US every year. So we were set up for those 4 events that week after week we started getting the updates of cancellation, and it was
Yeah.
gut wrenching because
Yeah.
it's the main season for the brand. It's a seasonal brand. So the first 2 weeks I was in a complete shock, like how am I gonna continue this really?
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
impossible. Like, I'm a small brand with tight cash flow. All the events are canceled of my highest season. The events really drive the sales. I don't have a huge buffer of
Mm-hmm.
cash to
Mm-hmm.
kind of drive it until the next season, which would be Christmas for us. So the first 2 weeks, I was like in a catatonic state, like everyone that has a
Yeah.
business. It's a global feeling. So yeah, hard close, no inventory, very little inventory. That I actually, for Mother's Day weekend, a lot of people, clients, texted me that I could fulfill, like, and we went with gloves and masks to just deliver in person. from the inventory that we had, the little inventory that we were already gathering for events. So that was good, but yeah, really a lot of teachable moments. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I see that are
So
you
yes,
in
I'm
your
outside.
surroundings? Are you
I'm
outside?
outside because
Okay.
I want to give you the tour of where our facilities are located, which is really beautiful. There's amazing bird watching, so I've learned a lot about birds here
Yes, yes.
accidentally. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn the camera around. So
Okay.
this is we're inside a nonprofit called Santos
Okay.
Programs, and they've been around forever, more than
Okay.
50 years.
Yeah, wait, tell me
And
again slowly. Sorry. My
Centro Sor
Center
y
for
Centro Sor y Solina Ferre. It's a
okay.
name.
Yeah. It's like Center
And
for Isolina Ferre. Okay.
Sor y Solina Ferre is a nun. So
Okay.
it's religious
Uh-huh.
ties.
Uh-huh.
But they educate for life, their motto. So they have a lot of
Uh-huh.
educational programs
Uh-huh.
for low-income communities or
Uh-huh.
at-risk youth. And
Uh-huh.
this location is their location in San Juan. And
Uh-huh.
this is a high school, what we see over there.
Wow.
And
Uh-huh.
this is a high school that accepts, it's for at-risk youth. It's young kids that already have been through the judicial system
Yeah.
or have had some kind of problem in their
Mm-hmm.
previous school. They
Mm-hmm.
accept them there and give them a
Education.
chance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So education is really the main focus, but also it's a really holistic approach because they have just psychological assistance
Mm-hmm.
and they really teach on how to be like a more rounded human being, not
Oh, that's
just
great.
one thing.
Yeah.
So their programs are really thorough and they have
Nice.
all kinds of programs. So I'm gonna just
So you
turn.
are situated in the same property, and
Yes.
do you
So this
also have visits from the students?
we don't have that many visits, but we're trying to implement the program with the school. What
Mm-hmm.
we do have specific ties to is that we have another facility in their facilities in Ponce in the south of the island,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a proper trade school over there, and
Mm-hmm.
they offer that trade program to low income communities, and we train from their sewing program.
Nice.
So last year we started training 3 people down there,
Uh-huh.
um, and then the earthquakes came in
Oh
2020.
my goodness. Yeah.
So that facility is shut down.
Oh.
That was a very first setback of 2020,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's something that will continue eventually.
Yeah.
And they're set up for the trade program, so just giving opportunity from that program into
Yeah.
Isleñas
Yeah.
is a perfect setup
Yeah. Perfect
down
fit.
there
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in the south of the island there used to be
Uh-huh.
a lot of factories,
Oh, okay.
so there's a lot of more let me turn it back until I give you the other tour. uh, there's a lot of sewing knowledge that
Oh,
gets passed
that's great.
down from
Yeah.
generation to generation.
Uh-huh.
So in the south, there's a lot more seamstresses than in the
Okay.
north because
Okay.
of that background in the
And
factory.
and then once they're in your facility, you also train because I guess fabric versus leather, it's a little bit different. It's very similar, but a little different.
Yes, we train from scratch,
Mm.
and just the machines. Normally, they learn in domestic machines, so we have industrial machines. We're using needle feed, which is not so different from the drop feed for the shoe nerds out there. But yeah, you do have to get used to the speed of an industrial machine,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to meet every single machine to really know them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we train them from scratch. The very first training period is with canvas, just so they learn
Mm-hmm.
the steps and they
Yeah.
get comfortable with the machine. And then we switch to the real material, which gets pretty expensive, but just needs to happen because of what you're saying. It's just a different handle
Yeah.
of the material. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Would love to have a little tour. And
Yes.
then
Okay.
and then
So
we'll go back to your beginnings as a shoemaker too
yes.
after that.
So this is the facility, and then this is our little house.
Uh-huh.
There's also a apparel manufacturing next to me
Oh,
called
uh-huh.
Retazo.
Uh-huh.
So everyone should check that out too, because they're focusing on a manufacturing for slow fashion. So any
Great.
brands out there
Mm-hmm.
that are looking for manufacturing, they could be a good resource.
Right.
Okay, so this is it's really small, so it's gonna be really quick.
That's
But
totally fine.
this
Oh,
is
wow.
just two
Uh-huh.
stations
Mm-hmm.
of sewing
Mm-hmm.
uh, for the footwear
Uppers.
industry people. This
Yeah.
is a needle feed, and this is a drop feed. We call this one the little monster because it has a clutch motor,
Uh-huh.
so it's
Uh-huh.
really loud and
Fast. Yeah.
fast. So this is my machine. I handle this one.
Okay.
And then what helps us is to do change the foot to a zipper foot, and that helps us a lot to control the little
The
pieces that we do.
material. Yeah.
Yeah, the material. So
Mm.
soles,
Soles.
yeah, everything is very analog. So this is order list, exchanges,
Nice. Nice.
uh, training dates, retailers that are interested. Uh, then these are three stations of sewing and mounting.
Uh-huh.
So this is
Uh-huh.
here my main seamstress sits. Here is a mounting in process, an
Uh-huh.
order that's gonna ship out tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Then
Oh,
we
do you
have,
hand sew the
yeah,
upper to the wow. Okay.
so yeah, that
Wow.
is
Great.
all hand. The blanket stitch is all.
Yeah.
We have
Wow.
a blanket stitch machine, but
Uh-huh.
we're not using it for this style because we haven't gotten a good at there's so many layers of material
Yeah.
that it's a really strong machine, and when it gets to these little differences
Yeah.
in materials, it really ruins the piece and it ruins everything. So
Mm.
we're doing it by this style, which is the best seller, we're doing
Mm.
by
By
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and then we
It,
carry a ton
mm-hmm.
of color.
Mm-hmm.
Our clients love color.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have all the colors
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
then
I associate your brand like you see espadrille, you can tell it's yours because of the colors, color
yeah,
blocking, you know? Yeah.
super connected to Puerto Rican culture,
Yes.
uh, from the name, and we can talk about that later, to
Okay.
just the vibe over here.
Right.
Then the CNC machine cuts the material. The CNC
Nice.
machine, I should add, my brother made it from scratch with
Nice.
pieces he ordered.
Wow.
So
That
it
is
was like a
great.
fraction of the price of what a
Like,
professional CNC machine would be.
right.
So I
Right.
really recommend doing this contraption for anyone cutting leather, but it doesn't really work for canvas and fabric.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
So a little bit of the
Wow.
color,
Uh-huh.
color maps.
Yeah.
This is the blanket stitch machine that we're barely using. And then these are some orders
New styles. Mm-hmm.
getting ready, and some of the inventory we had made for the events.
Events. Wow.
And then over here we have a training in process. Hola
Okay.
Maria, ¿cómo estás? She's learning how to do the wedge. So
Mm.
she's practicing here,
Mm-hmm.
needle feed machine. Then
Mm-hmm.
here we punch the uppers by hand.
Mm-hmm.
This is our really good friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
and then we fulfill over here.
Nice, nice,
So that's the
nice.
main
It's a
tour.
great setup.
Yeah.
How many people are you like fully back, or is it more like do you do partial, like
Yeah,
stagger the time, or
so yeah, staggering is what we're doing. With the COVID prevention plan, since we have such a small space, we have 6 team members in manufacturing, counting myself, But
Great.
since we have such a small space, we can't have everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're doing 2 to 3 people uh, per day,
Yeah.
so we can
And take
still
turns.
keep exactly, yeah. And then what
Wow.
we're doing with that is that everyone needs to be protected. Everyone needs to wash their hands when they come in. Oh, this
Mm-hmm.
is Stila.
Hi. So cute.
Uh, everyone needs to disinfect their area
Yeah.
every certain time, especially when they get here and when they leave. And then any common area, we're trying to not have common areas. Like the punching table used to be something that we all use, but now we're trying to just one person to use it, so we don't have to be cleaning
Assign some. Yeah.
the tools there that are shared.
Yeah.
And then everyone has their own set of tools. Before, we just would put them in the middle toolbox and everyone would just grab anything. But now
But
everyone has
now,
their separate sets.
oh, mm-hmm.
So then we have stations for hand sanitizer, 2 stations, and then we
Mm-hmm.
provide the masks, the
Yeah.
gloves, and all
Yeah.
face shields if
Yeah.
someone feels more comfortable with face shield.
Yeah.
We also have the options to protect. Yeah.
Oh, can you hear? Right.
Yeah.
That's so great. Thank you for showing us. And so
Thanks.
so for example, like Maria, how did you find her? Did she also come from the south area?
So
Southern area?
Maria particularly
Mm-hmm.
was from classified. I just put a ad on the paper
Uh-huh.
for seamstresses. But before that, I have a really nice collaboration with a school here called Bernardi Studio. And actually, the owner of that school went to Brooklyn Shoe Space to learn
Oh.
shoemaking. Remember,
Oh.
you told
Yeah.
me a few years ago, hey, there's a Puerto Rican that's here. Maybe you
Oh
know her,
yeah.
and her name was Monica,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
maybe you
yeah.
remember her.
Yeah.
And as soon as I came here, I looked for her and went to her studio, and it's amazing. I mean, she has so much
Oh,
machinery. She's decked out, super prepared, and she's a school. So she does
great.
espadrille making
Uh-huh.
and she does accessories. And now she's going digital, which is amazing. Super,
Yeah.
really restructuring her
Yes.
classes. But
Yes.
basically, we have a really good collaboration where I'm like, Monica, I need more people, and she just blurts out to
Recommend
her
somebody.
private, yeah, she has a private Facebook group of her students, so she just
Uh-huh.
posts there. Islena's looking for team members. So 4 out of my 6 have been through that, and then the 3 other that I was training in the South is directly through the nonprofits,
Mm-hmm.
classifieds, and the schools are really good partners too. Design schools.
Yeah.
There's at the University of Puerto Rico, we have one from the architecture department,
Wow. Yeah.
and then we have an apparel designer from another school.
Wow. That is impressive. There's so many people now, you
Yes,
know?
yeah, it's exciting. It's
Yeah, it
really
is
exciting.
growing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like going back a little bit to, time travel back to your beginning, how did you start making shoes?
So I went to Rhode Island School of Design for furniture,
Mm-hmm.
and shoes was basically one of the things. There is no shoe classes. There is everything under the sun of product and arts, fine arts, between fine arts and design, but really shoemaking, not at all. And I did an internship at Tom's Shoes my junior year. And that wasn't design oriented because they only had one shoe at that moment. They
Yeah.
just recently launched when I interned. But that really opened my eyes to having a business tied with a social movement because
Mm-hmm.
they were one of the first ones to lead with that concept.
Yeah.
And for me, that was amazing. That really kind of shaped the rest of my career. Um, and but I was really curious because I didn't do design there. I was really curious about that process. So then after graduating from furniture design, I worked for an apparel company in New York for a little bit that included in their offering not shoemaking, but a shoe design,
Shoes. Mm-hmm.
a style of shoe. And then I was really interested in learning more, and I applied to Polimoda in Florence, and I went there the next year for a master's in footwear design.
Mm. Wait,
So
can you hear me?
masters, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Masters in
Yes,
Polimoda?
I see Aki. Aki was my professor.
Yeah,
Aki,
Aki was saying
hey.
you're like the first student.
Yes, we were the first masters in footwear design. That first year, first program for Polimola that year.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
great.
the
Yes.
first graduates, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. And then you started Mariem and Co.
So I really was tied to the making
Uh-huh.
aspect of
Uh-huh.
everything because my background in art school was very kind of pure about that or something. Furniture, all the furniture department was there wasn't even computer classes. It was just making with your hands.
Yeah.
And even the first semester, we couldn't even use machines. It was
Yeah.
just with hand tools. So
That is
really, I came
great.
from that background. And then when I started looking for jobs in New York, and I saw that I was just gonna be doing tech packs and just copying other people's designs and just doing it cheaper, then I was really discouraged. And I
Yeah.
know that's part of
That-
industries at different levels, and I would have learned a lot. Like, I'm not discouraging that at all, but I just wanted to make. That was just my interest.
Mhm.
So I started gathering machinery little by little and working at a restaurant. And then I was like, I can just do this. I can work at a restaurant and start building a brand. And I thought it could grow organically, but I realized I needed so much more capital. Like, growing organically, it was just a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like Isleñas was basically just a pivot. It's the same exact concept of Mariam. It's just a pivot, change of name, but the values and the mission remain exactly the same. And
Mhm.
I went and got, you know, mentoring in business and some funding to help me launch it. So the approach
Right.
with Isleñas very different than with Mariam with the lessons learned.
And your name, when you changed, pivoted, what's behind your name?
So Isleñas means female islander, and it describes everything: where we make the shoes, which is in the island of Puerto Rico, by who, which is female islanders, literally. And it really describes also the vibe of the shoe because Espadrilles is a warm weather shoe and we're making it in a tropical island. So
Yeah.
really, it's very connected to our identity, where
Uh-huh.
we're from. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, really tied to the
Yeah.
background of the company.
That is great. And I remember you were getting grants from Puerto Rican
Yes, so yeah,
government or
it's a NGO. It's funded by the Department of Science and Technology. So, and they focus on tech and software. So I really, really didn't think I was gonna get this grant. Like, shoemaking is like the oldest profession, one of the oldest professions. So, but one of my aunts, I always had the dream of coming back with my own project. But really, the funding, I learned that you really need that. And after Hurricane Maria, there was a new program that incentivized just new projects, new enterprises,
Mhm.
and really try to push for people that are living outside of Puerto Rico, that are Puerto Ricans, to come back and try something new. So that's when I applied to Parallel 18. The program is called Pre 18. I was living in New York working for Isa, another Puerto Rican designer that is amazing. And I applied. I got in, surprisingly. I really didn't think it was just such a long shot. And I
So
decided I
proud.
needed to take it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
great.
couldn't pass that opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
so
that's
they gave
great.
us $20,000 to launch a project. You just needed a prototype and an idea and
Hmm.
expertise in your
Yeah,
field,
yeah,
and they gave you the opportunity.
that is
So
great. That is
yeah,
great.
it was amazing.
Congratulations on that, you know.
Thank
But
you.
I
Yeah,
know how, business is hard, so, it doesn't go
yeah.
too far, but it's like a good kick,
It's a
push.
good kick to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also just the funding and the mentorship. So you use the funds way better, more informed, just kind of that hand holding a little bit, and
Oh, that's great. Oh,
so yeah, that it was really, really positive to start.
yeah. Another question. Sorry, there's a question from somebody that keeps on writing us. I'm not
Yeah.
ignoring you, but it says, let's answer it now.
Yes.
How difficult to import and export products and materials from Puerto Rico as a small business? And also, he or she asked before, where you get materials on the island.
In the island, there's one leather shop at a retail level. There's no tanneries over here. There's no industry of shoemaking in
Yeah.
general.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have to import everything. And I've imported before from China, from Spain, now from Brazil, which they just closed the borders, and the factory was like, we need to get this shipment out, like the FedEx. Yeah, there's a whole problem now with COVID and import
Yeah.
between countries. But Spain, China, Brazil, then I buy the leather at a retail level in New York and California.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Those are the countries, 5 countries or 4. Yeah. And I bought from Italy before, but it was too expensive, so I stopped buying from Italy.
Italy. I see. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of see the signature style. You were saying like the not 3 stripes, 3 strap one is your
Yes.
signature style. Is that like the best selling?
Yes, that's the best selling, but this specific SKU that I'll bring over here
Is popular?
this one is by far the best seller, which
the
is
rainbow.
the rainbow. Yeah. So it's
so
kind
cute.
of like, a fancy espadrille sucker slide in a way.
It is so cute.
And then it has the padding. But yeah, people love this one.
Yeah, that's so great. And this month is also Pride Month as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes, all
the
about inclusivity.
colors. Yes. Oh man, so what's the favorite tool that you have in your shop?
My favorite is a very, very sharp scissor to cut the lining. Really,
It's your
that's
special
simple.
one.
Just scissors. Yeah, I have a special one.
That all your workers can't
the
touch.
other girls are like, no, this other one's better, like a bulkier one. I'm like, I don't have a handle on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's like the shape of your hand. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
depends on. Cool.
Yeah.
So how many orders or how many pairs at a time do you work on your shoes?
I work anywhere from 2 to 4, but the space is so limited that it gets really, and all of the shoes that we're making have 1 million pieces.
Yes.
They might look minimal, the end product, but you know that because you've sewn that
Yes.
popular shoe. Yeah, there's so many pieces that it gets really, really complicated when you have it on the table. Too many at a time. It's too crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought maybe it's also us. We were like, are we like really slow or
No.
no? But
Yes,
no, it's
no.
a lot of steps. Yeah.
It's a lot of steps. Yeah.
Do you? I forget if you take private clients. You don't do that.
We don't do bespoke. What we have been doing is color customizations because we do have in-house all that colorful material. So some people ask us like, hey, can you do that but in silver? And if we have it, we love to change it up. So we have a little highlight on the Instagram of the customizations we've done, and we're looking into a program to be attached to Islena's website to show you in real time what your customization would look like. So that would be in collaboration with another company that went through the incubator that does the prototyping in 3D and then sets up the Shopify with that customization portal. So we're looking into that. I'm excited, but that's definitely not a priority. There's so many other things, but yeah, we're excited about that. And then there's
Yeah.
some width specifications sometimes that we've dealt with, but
Hmm.
just the width or the height of the instep or
Yeah.
the width of the ball of the foot. So very basic customization.
Adjustment. Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
great
exactly.
though. Also with weddings and like special occasions, people can
Yeah,
customize a little bit and have a little
yeah.
say in the
I would
colors.
love to get into bridal styles. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like not everybody wears heels too, so I maybe under their dresses they can have something like super like casual
Yeah,
in a way.
especially for like a more casual or tropical wedding or outside
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
It
You
could
have a
be.
wedge. You have a high heel too now.
Yeah, we do. And we just got another sole that is a lower wedge, so we're gonna launch that soon this year. But we have this one over
Nice.
here, which is the style that Maria is practicing now.
Okay. Yeah. How
This
high is the
style.
heel?
It's 3 centimeters, so that would
Okay.
be, no, 3 inches, so that would be like 8 centimeters.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
still comfortable. It's like the front has a little platform too.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is like a little bit for you, but what if you had unlimited resources and time in the world, what kind of
hmm
shoes would you make and for who would you make? Would it be
So
as women's shoes or would it be like totally different for yourself?
I would totally do, and this is, I think, all the dream of all the shoemakers in the world, probably, a complete biodegradable shoe that is also durable, which is already a conundrum,
Yeah.
and and aesthetically pleasing and comfortable. All of
Yeah.
that together.
All in one. Yeah. And the
Yeah,
colors and
all of that.
everything. Yes. Achieve
Yeah,
all the
and
fun
colors
colors.
and textures and yeah, all of that.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Do are there people who come and ask you for like a vegan material?
Yeah, we've had a lot of vegans DM us and say like, "Hey, I love your shoes, but do you offer any options in natural fibers or anything that is non animal product?" But we don't right now, but we want to. I think we're going the natural fiber way because we don't like the fake leather. Just dealing
Yeah.
with plastic, we rather do natural fiber.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
how we would approach it.
Gotcha. Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. What would you do differently post coronavirus, and as well as
Mm.
this past weekend's incidents and all the current climate that's going on? What would you do differently for your company?
I first the first point that we were hurting with is the inventory that I mentioned before. So I would
Yeah.
work with a little bit more inventory to create kind of a space where if operations fall because of a natural disaster or because of a pandemic or any reason or political arrest that we lived through the summer last summer, whatever reason, that we could still operate because it's our livelihood. Um, so work with a little bit more inventory at a time. We learned something really interesting about the glue that we're using. It's very specific, but the Aquilium, it wasn't working for us so well at some point that it got more humid. So because the studio was without being used for a while, the
Oh,
uppers that were ready to be mounted really set, cured like amazing. So we have to work at a slower pace, we learned, because of the downtime. When it's really humid out, like summer is approaching, or we just have to slow down from the process of sewing to mounting because the
mm,
process of mounting and kind of just moving the leather around when you're doing the blanket stitch, it kind of ruins
the
the seal,
closure.
the
Yeah.
closure.
Yeah.
So we learned a little bit about the glue. And then with what everything that is happening now in terms of social climate, this is such a current topic. Last night I was talking about this with a few friends that have small brands. Because we're all a representation of our brand. We're so human centric.
Yeah,
Our
absolutely.
our values are tied to
Yeah. What
how
you
we
do.
speak through the
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
It's really a person behind a brand and with certain values and ethics. And for Isleñas, it's really important to channel the values that we're trying to practice. And that's why, since the beginning, the social mission was really important. And that's why we decided to partner with a nonprofit, because it kind of drives that message home.
Yeah.
And it kind of solidifies that responsibility we feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like the very first time that I encountered saying something political was last year with what was happening with the government here. I don't know if New York got a lot of those news, but basically the corruption of the government and a private chat that got to the public eye was completely unacceptable, and people went to the street, and everyone wanted the governor out. So that was the first time that I was like, this is really important for me and for our community. So we're going to say something as a brand. And it's something I talk with my team. Like current events is a topic while we're stitching, and
Yeah.
we talk about our feelings and what's going on. So as a brand, as a group,
Yeah.
we say something when we
Yeah.
really feel it's genuine.
Yeah.
But I think what's really important with that is to saying something through digital channels behind a brand. I think that really needs to be tied to in real life action.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's one really. So yeah, you create awareness by you have a platform of a few thousand followers, and you can create certain awareness about topics that matter to you. But then you have to really, really do the action in real life.
Right. I think
So
you've been doing from the beginning, like a percentage of the sales goes to,
to the
initially it was for
nonprofit.
the non-profit for recovering for Hurricane Maria, was
We
it?
did a little bit of that.
Yeah.
We did earthquake.
Yeah.
But our general donations go to the nonprofit that we are operating from. But then when something supernatural happens, like the earthquakes that are the affected are still being affected, we change our donations and do the new organization for a little bit. But yeah, I think the action, and just because opening our wallets is such a recurring action every day, I feel donations is always a very effective, and who you support from services, companies, products, and causes, everything. We can really cause a difference with our dollars.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. Thank you. Where do you get your inspiration from?
Oh, I really from everywhere. I'm really focusing because we're so technically tied because we're doing in-house. Really, a lot of things are informed from the machinery we have and what we can do, and being very resourceful and creative about. I mean, that kind of informs the design.
Yes.
And yes, I can get inspiration. I love architecture and interior design and furniture. I studied furniture before shoes, and I really, really like have that in the back of my mind, and I pay attention to those details. But really, really like the technical aspect really informs of the what we can do with the design. So we're trying to do a lot of material manipulation because that's something that we can do, and it's interesting. And then play with color and texture, and that's something that we can do. So
and then keep the styles simple.
Exactly.
And so the skills will be the same, and so everybody can be trained, and absolutely. Oh, that's so great. Where would you want to be, and what do you want to be doing in like 3 to 5 years?
I would love to scale Isleñas to do in 3 years. If we can do 1,000 units per month and sell 1,000 units per month, then we would be like 1.8 million in revenue. And I think we could scale up and start other categories and have a bigger factory for 1,000 units
Training
per
part.
month. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
with 1,000 units per month, we would need, if our calculations are correct, we would need 30 people,
Okay.
a factory of 30 people.
That's
So that would
possible.
be amazing. If in three
Yeah.
years we can get
Yeah.
there, I would love
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Yes. I mean, you're halfway. I mean, there you have 16 or 15
six,
people.
six, six, six,
Oh, six.
six
Okay.
people, six people.
Six
Yeah,
people. Okay. Not, well, you're there. You're almost,
yeah.
you know,
But yeah,
getting
it's
closer
good.
because
It's
the
good.
first
Yeah,
time I think I talked to you right as you moved, it was like you had one
I
or
was
two.
alone. I was
Oh,
just
yes.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right when I moved, it was just a prototype that I did when we were in Rubbling, and then you helped me sew the first batch,
Yeah.
and then the November, so like 6 months after I moved, then I started training two people. So at the end of 2018, I started training the first two people that are still with me.
Oh man, the journey.
The journey.
Yes.
You know,
Uh,
it's not the easy route, but it's a really
no,
rewarding,
it
awesome. I'm
is.
doing exactly what I want to be doing. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that is so great. So I hope you can keep on doing what you love to do. And I want to see how, what's the best way to support you. Basically, the best way to support you is to purchase from you.
Share orders and
Share
shares. Yeah.
orders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Orders and shares for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I'm glad that you have like a really good outlook right now. Like, I mean, I think, I might have told you, but, we closed the shop a
Yes.
little bit. We kind
We
of
talked
scaled
about
back.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to reopen, try to, hopefully. And I think we will. But still, like,
Yeah.
it was,
The, the
it's,
community you built is really strong. So,
oh, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we need to keep on going. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have that, not what's the right word? Motivation. You're like super motivated to do it.
I really
So
am. Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes out and what comes next.
Thank you, Keiko.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing your journey.
Thank
Um,
you.
I heard July 12th, there's like a presidential primaries. I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm kind of ignorant with this part. I did not know that you guys can't vote for general elections.
No, no. We can't
That's
vote for the
wild.
president. Yeah, it's really
Oh,
crazy. Really, really
do
crazy.
people are people active for the primaries, or are they kind of
They are. There's so much since 2019. There's a lot of talk, and
okay?
people right now, the governor just signed the, I don't know if in English it's called civil code, but
Uh-huh.
basically it restricts a lot of human rights for LGBTQ and women, and it's horrible. So
What?
they're really possible there's gonna be another upheaval, like last year's.
Right,
That's what I'm seeing.
right.
That
As a
there's
company, so you allow everybody to kind of go and vote, kind of take a time in the morning
oh
to
yes,
vote,
yes,
and
yes, yeah. Everyone here is free. Everyone does amazing work. They have their work ethic, so whatever they need to do, yeah, everyone's open to go and do
vote.
what they need to do. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But I hope that we can I don't know what the right word is. Words don't really,
It's such a weird
yeah,
time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
weird.
Let's
Yeah.
keep on doing what we do best
Yes.
with our mission in mind, and with your mission. You're doing great job
Yes.
for your local community.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to see. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
So,
trying.
I had other personal like shoemaking kind of questions, but
Just 1 second, Kiko. I think
yeah.
Maria's heading out.
Oh,
Está
okay.
bien. Está bien. Gracias, María. Está bien. Hablamos. Nos vemos el jueves. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's
I'm
good. It's
confused with the
good.
math.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Thank you so much. I was gonna ask you all these little things like, oh, what kind of shoes do you like to make, out of your shoemaking career and everything? Because you do have like a training in traditional shoes too, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
design industry. You've been in the industry. Do you kind of
Yeah.
sometimes take time to make something for yourself on the side, or is that kind of like no time?
I haven't lately, but I have a really cool project that is cooking
Ooh.
with a professor from one of the science schools from Ana Jimenez. Her name is Ana Cristina. And she made a biodegradable material from coffee and plantain waste. And
Wow.
we're in the talks of seeing if we can use that for some kind of sole component.
Oh,
So yeah,
interesting.
I'm really, really pumped about that. So that's on the side, but if something comes out of it, then I would try to get a grant and try to do a small run of that and do maybe a show in the museum that is in partnership with the material and her with Islenia. So
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
really
that's
pumped. Yeah,
exciting. Yeah.
that's really, really, really
I
exciting.
mean,
Um,
and research and development takes time. So,
Yeah, so I asked her, that was my main question because I would love to get into material research and development
yeah.
eventually if Islanians get super, super mature and like have more money to develop material.
Yeah.
But I was like, how did you go about this? I don't even understand how. And she's an industrial designer, so
Uh-huh.
she she just created processes and played around a bunch, and
Wow.
she has access to the fab labs in the university.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that's so
That's
great, so
great.
inspiring.
Yeah. Wait, is she also in Puerto Rico?
She's in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
She's a
Yeah.
professor in industrial
Professor.
design
Okay.
from a university called Ana Jimenez.
And
Yep.
that's so great
Yeah.
though. I think yeah, the island seems like it's like giving everybody inspiration, you know, with what you have. It's like a
Yeah.
limitation but also like a challenge.
Right. And
Yeah.
people here are really creative, just
Yeah.
culturally. And people, even if you're not in the artistic field, people are used to making with their hands.
That's great.
Even if it's like food, or yeah, people are just like crafty,
Yeah.
crafty. Yeah.
That's so great. Oh, keep that mentality.
Yes.
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 Yes, definitely. All right. No, thank you so much for taking your time today. I know, like, you know, time is so precious. You just reopened,
Yes.
but I'm really excited, you know, to see really, yeah,
Thank you,
what you
Keiko.
make from there. So keep in touch. I'll
Yes.
watch you on social media.
Yes.
Yeah,
Same. I'm
yeah.
excited about the shoe space, the Brooklyn shoe space next space.
Yes, we'll see where that goes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, take it easy. Just
yeah.
one thing at a
One
time
thing at a
because it's
time.
overwhelming. Yes.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. All right. Love, love, sending love. Thank you.
Thank you, Keiko.
Bye.
Bye bye.